everyone.
Good afternoon.
These are for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Happy holidays, everyone, and thank you for coming into this month's meeting. I suppose we should probably start off with a list of applicants lined up for the 3 vacancies. There are 5 in particular that I would like to run through with you now. The first being Mr. Alan Watts. He is 32 years old, non-smoker, no history of drug usage, but was evicted from his apartment after his bank could no longer provide him loans to help pay off his lease. He previously resided in Pathways Refugee and Company, but was then forced to leave on account of the building closing.
That place closed down because of health violations, right?
Yes, mold buildup in the walls and under the floorboards.
Yikes.
I think it would have been my decision too, just because of like the discomfort almost of outside. Like freezing to death is not a great way to go. So I definitely think that it makes sense that people chose the shelter over it. But I do think they should definitely have way better living conditions, because homeless people are people too, and that's really terrible.
Next, we have 37-year-old Jacqueline Morse, single mother of 3, all under the age of 6, 2 boys and a girl. She does currently hold a day job at the Sunrock Cafe. However, her monthly income isn't enough to maintain permanent housing.
Any family in town she can stay with?
Her bio says that her relatives live a couple of states over in Ohio, so going to stay with them isn't realistic for her at this point. We asked her about friends also, but she said that none of them live in a large enough apartment to accommodate her and her children.
Shelter. I think everyone wants to feel like they have a home, they have something to go back to, even when everything else is going wrong.
Alright, if you'll turn in your packets, we will discuss Ezra Abbott, 28 years old, suffering from a case of sensory overload, making him particularly sensitive to noise. As a result of this illness, his difficulty focusing and his constant state of restlessness and discomfort has made it difficult for him to earn wages in the workplace. He previously applied to other shelters but has always been turned down.
Well, I think the implementation of accommodations, like for someone with severe claustrophobia, I know space is at a premium, but a separate section for them. I think PTSD survivors could again have a more private space. Of course, it would require the allocation of resources, federal grants. It would require time, money, and resources, which is really the problem. No one's willing to give those things. So housing programs instead of shelters might suit these people, but in the meantime, there has to be a place for them to go, and that's have to be a shelter.
I think if we made the initial process of, I don't know if the right word is applying, but I'm going to roll with applying, to be in these shelters more personalized and less of a you have to go into the madness and figure it out. If there was like a subsection or just something that made it easier to approach people, or if we had like nurses or even therapists, like people who know how to work very gently, be the ones who help these people who need to be in a shelter through the process of joining a shelter, would initially calm a lot of their nerves, and then through that we can they can actually find out like what accommodations need to be met, and then figure out how personalized it has to be. And so it's not a very like well publicized thing, so people aren't saying like, oh, if I just say that I have this, then they will give me more of this. It is a more like, what do you need, why is this an issue for you, and then they can adjust accordingly.
All right, next we have Angelina Johnson, who seems to be a model citizen. Non-smoker, no drug history, and no criminal records of any sort. She recently got laid off of her job at Inkwell Bookstore after its closing due to bankruptcy. She does have substantial student debt, however, and now that she currently does not have any resources to pay that off, she's in the process of having her house repossessed.
Any children or spouse with her?
No, but she does have a dog with her.
She's not willing to give him to a kennel?
No. In her words, it's non-negotiable. She says he provides her a sense of comfort and stability. She'd rather not give that up.
I think it's because you can tell that the person on the side of the road is also, like, they're not only trying to care for themselves, but they're trying to care for another being. So you feel more, like, you feel more sympathy towards them.
And last but not least, Joseph Green, 52 years of age, previously employed as a computer programmer for a startup company, but got laid off after his relationship with alcohol abuse worsened. Our resources say that he was referred here by a distant relative in hopes that he could benefit from our counseling services.
We get a lot of people from the substance abuse demographic.
Economic stress.
I mean, I feel like our program would be a great fit for Joseph. It's worked with many victims in the past.
So we advocate to help him.
I mean, I think homeless people are like already in society. I think they are a part of society. I think society just like alienates homeless people. But I do think like homeless people, like when they're given the chance to kind of like reinvent themselves and stuff like that, like I feel like it is possible for them to, you know, get jobs, get houses, start families, just when they're given that chance to.
We've gone through all of the files, and we are now faced with a very difficult decision. 5 people are in desperate need of help, but we only have 3 beds available. What should we do?